Alright, hello everyone, Resonance here, and welcome to my birthday Let's Play of Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Trials and Tribulations, case number 2, The Stolen Turnabout. For those of you who might not be familiar with the Ace Attorney franchise, I really encourage you to stay tuned and watch it through the end, as you'll be very pleasantly surprised with the quality of writing in this twisted mystery of logic. I'll be fully voice acting each of the characters, like I did last time with Turnabout Trump. Thank you so much for celebrating my birthday with me by watching this Let's Play of one of my favorite games and leaving a like and a comment on YouTube. Without further ado, let's jump into the case with the final part of the investigation, and then after that I'll explain the basic premise behind the case and introduce the characters and our evidence. Thank you so much, by the way, Syspawn, for your 4-month resub. So we're playing as Phoenix Wright, and he is a defense attorney. And our assistant is Maya Fey, as well as Pearl Fey. So, is Mr. Ace Detective out of office? Yes, when I arrived here, there wasn't a single soul in sight. Say, Nick, doesn't it look like something's changed since we were here last? Now that you mention it. I would like you all to solve this mystery with me. This bag. I'm sure it wasn't here before. It looks quite full. I wonder what could be in here. Hey, Nick, come on, open it up. Hey, wait a minute. You can't just open his private property. Oh, don't be such a fuddy-duddy. This is an important investigation. That's true, and truth be told, I have to admit, I'm kind of curious. Well, what's in there? Hang on a sec, I'm taking it out now. Whatever it is, it feels kind of hard and smooth. Well, hello there! Eek! He's here! What are you doing, Sir Lawyer? I'm shocked to see a servant of the court ignoring the law so flagrantly. I'm really sorry, but Maya made me do it. Nick, I can't believe you! A gentleman never uses a lady as an excuse for his own poor behavior. The real question is, can you afford to waste time lollygagging about here? What do you mean by that? Perhaps I should make myself more clear. Tomorrow's trial, Zvari, shall be, say, the figurative. Sir William will be dropping his panties before lunchtime. Wow, Nick, sounds like it's going to be really exciting. What's going to happen at the trial tomorrow that's so dramatic? Do you know what your biggest mistake so far has been, Sir Lawyer? It was becoming a lawyer in the first place. That certainly does sound like a big mistake, Mr. Nick. Tomorrow will be a day to remember. I, Luke Atme, will take the stand. And then, Zvari, my testimony will prove to be the undoing of the lot of you. Yes, all of you. I will unmask you all as the thief's co-conspirators. Co-conspirators? You're quick on the defensive, I see. However, it is not I that is your greatest enemy. There's a far more dangerous threat that you will face during the trial. What are you talking about? Sir Lawyer, if you truly are who you say, I'm sure you've heard of him. His name is Godot. Godot? Who is this Godot person? It's not surprising that a spirit medium has not heard the name. Godot, the prosecutor whose equal cannot be found in this country, but in heaven. Godot, a legend or myth. Men pin a lifetime of hopes on the chance to simply meet him. Prosecutor? But the best prosecutor in the country isn't Godot, it's Mr. Edgeworth! Isn't that right, Nick? It's no surprise that a spirit medium such as yourself would know nothing of this. But Ace Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth is currently traveling abroad. Huh? In fact, it was Mr. Edgeworth who acknowledged Godot as the best in this country. And you agree with that? Most certainly. In fact, you could call him the Luke Atme of the prosecutor's office. Well, that's good to hear. The prosecution has a fighting chance tomorrow. Mr. Nick, is this Godot really that strong? I seem to remember hearing about someone like that. Not surprising. Some people spend their entire lives idly waiting for his appearance. You have taken a step down the path of foolishness. To try to defend a career criminal who deserves nothing less than the death penalty? Hey! Last time I checked, no one knows for sure whether or not Mr. Delight really is Master Mask. My dear lady, times may change, but people sadly do not. Well, you will understand this when you are more mature. Looks like we're done investigating for the day. Sir Lawyer, the stage has been set and all the pieces are finally in place. All that remains now is for the dance to begin. A new prosecutor, an ace detective, and a thief. This will be one tough trial. So the basic premise behind this case, and why I like it so much, is that if you're really good at logic puzzles, you will be able to unravel this mystery alongside me. What I like about this case, and one of my favorite things to do, is just sit anyone down that I know at a trial, and given the pieces of the puzzle, you actually don't need to do the full investigation to slowly put everything together. However, I recommend that you watch it all the way through the end, as I guarantee that you'll be pleasantly surprised at where this case is going. And it will all make sense in the end. The premise of this case is such. There's a master thief named Master Mask, who always leaves his calling card behind before each major heist. So far, he has performed 5 major heists, and ace detective Luke Atme has been hot on his trail during each of them. In the last major heist, Master Mask was arrested by the police under Detective Dick Gumshoe, as Master Mask attempted to steal a sacred urn on display from Maya Fey's home village, which has since disappeared. The defendant is Ron Delight, who pleads guilty to being Master Mask and stealing the urn. Ron Delight was arrested by the police detective Dick Gumshoe, in part due to the suspiciously large amount of Master Mask memorabilia at his home. His wife Desiree Delight has a huge spending habit and outgoing lifestyle, and does not believe that her timid husband could be a master thief, and so she requests your help. Waiting for Godot. Yes, that's actually a reference that they do indeed make. Godot is one of the best characters in Ace Attorney. Welcome to the stream, Lyriel. It's a pleasure to have you all. I look forward to following everyone's comments in the chat. Real pleasure. God, Luke Atme is one of my favorite characters in the game, like by far, seriously. He's super funny. Thank you so much, Sispon, for the $15 donation. He says, happy birthday, Rez. Thank you for all the awesome content and for running an awesome community. I'm putting on my detective hat. Do you have a pipe and or a monocle I can borrow? Absolutely. Hey, Nick. What is it? Is something wrong? Nah, but did you see all the people here? It's crazy! Oh, look at this. I bought this Master Mask publicity photo. So this is what our thief looks like. Oh yes, Decimvir. Thank you, Shaky. You bought that? Where? From the little tents in front of the courthouse. They could have all sorts of things for sale. You know, I'm such a sucker for that kind of stuff. Master Mask publicity photo was added to the court record. Come on! I'm guilty! Throw the book at me! Who's screaming like that? Oh, Mr. Wright! You made it! Yeah, I did. But it doesn't look like things are going to get any less ugly for you. Because I did it! I'm the criminal! Me! Ugh, he's at it again. I sent the calling card to Ludley Taylor. I admit it! But you don't have the sacred urn, right? Well, that's true, but that doesn't mean that I didn't commit the crime. Normally, when I say of course you didn't, I'm being sarcastic, but you... Yikes! Anyway, I admit that I'm guilty. So make sure that they give me a guilty verdict. Please! Oh, there you are, Ronnie. Bonjour, sweetie. Oh, Desi, honey. Bonjour! Well, Actually, I don't really know why I should be speaking French to you at a time like this. Leave it all to me, Ronnie. I swear I'll protect you. You see, actually, the thief is, me. Can I tell you something, Nicky boy? I can guarantee that my Ronnie is innocent. If he's declared guilty, I'll be ever so cross with you. So why are you smiling when you say it? Well, if you'll excuse me, I've got some errands I need to take care of. I'm counting on you, Nicky boy. Good luck! To be honest, I really don't know whether Ron is masked to mask or not. But there's only one thing I am sure of. He doesn't have the sacred urn right now. So again, that's the only thing we know for sure, is he doesn't have the sacred urn right now, but he's pleading guilty. Mr. Delight, it's time for you to enter the courtroom. For the time being, I guess I'll have to trust Desiree. I hope you're all ready for some of the best characters in Ace Attorney history of all time. And where Vega gets his profile picture from. Oh, you're not ready for this. Perhaps, Mr. Eagle, I like where you think. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Ron Delight. The defense is ready, Your Honor. I love this theme, too. Who the hell is that guy? What about the prosecution? Are you prepared to... What a stupid question. What did you say? Fine. Let me ask you then, Your Honor. Are you ready? Are you ready to pass judgment? What? No, I'm not! I will pass judgment after I hear arguments from both sides. Well, if you're not ready yourself, you shouldn't expect others to be. That's a rule to live by. Who are you? I am Godot, legendary prosecutor. I've never lost a case. Ah, he's the one that Detective Atme was talking about. Yes, your reputation precedes you. What kind of cases have you dealt with so far? Ha! None. What did you say? I've never prosecuted a case before. Never? But you said you've never lost before. Exactly. I've never lost. Aw, thank you so much, Twist. This is 3 new emotes. Give me please. Also, happy birthday, Detective Resonance. Thank you so much. Doesn't Veer suspects the wife. One squirrel thinks Ron's guilty. Ron Delight is being accused of being mask to mask a master thief, so he's being accused of stealing. And that's all we know so far. Exactly. I've never lost. I've never won before either. Quite arrogant for a beginner, aren't you? Even the mightiest of redwoods begin their lives as mere saplings. Yes, but a mask? In a court of law? Ha! Don't you know anything? No matter the man, we all wear masks. Either on our faces or over our hearts. This guy is the real deal, alright, Nick. Why does it seem like all prosecutors are the real deal? So we finally meet Mr. Phoenix Trite. Huh? Nick, is he a friend of yours? No, I don't have any friends that call me Trite. Just who is this masked man? I've returned from the depths of hell to do battle with you. Well then, Prosecutor Gobo. It's not Gobo, it's Godo, Your Honor. In any case, please give your opening statement. Opening statement? Those things not fit for even dogs to consume. I have only one thing to say before we start. To you, Mr. Trite. What is it? Are you familiar with the saying, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link? I wonder how much you can withstand before you and your case break in two. Well then, let's hear from the first witness. So I'll briefly go over each of the characters that are relevant to this case again. So once again, This is you, and we don't know if all of the... We know that all characters within this portfolio are relevant to the case, but we don't know if we have all of the relevant characters yet. And once again, so far, Ron DeLite is our defendant. He's pleading guilty to being Master Mask, the master thief behind these 5 major heists. This is you. This is your mentor. Your 2 assistants here can actually channel your mentor, which means that maybe they could actually fit inside the Master Mask costume, maybe. This is the police detective, Dick Gumshoe, of which we have a new awesome emote for, so hope you all enjoyed that one. He's in charge of the investigation. This is Master Mask, a flashy thief who steals valuable works of art and always sends a calling card before his heist. This is Ace Detective Luke Atme. He has great powers of deduction, yet rarely makes sense. Oh Ron. And this is Ron's wife. It's very friendly and outgoing. This is the head of planning, promotion, and security of the treasures exhibit of which the sacred urn was stolen from. And this is your friend who picked up Ron's wallet while working on the night of the crime. And this is Prosecutor Godot, who's shrouded in mystery and seems to know you somehow, but not your actual name. Well then, let's hear from the first witness. My name is... No one has asked for your name, witness. The important thing is what you know. That's all. Start talking. We're listening. Yes, sir. Alright, witness. First, let's hear about... what you know about the thief that stole the urn. Yes, sir! One of my favorite characters of all time. I love every single detective, as you can tell from the emotes. Alright, so this is some testimony on Master Mask crime, so I want everyone to pay very close attention here, as I have sat my friends through this case without actually giving them any context, and they were able to eventually solve it, but it's a lot more convoluted than you might think it is. It's a fun logic puzzle. Pay attention. Master Mask is a master thief that started his first crime spree 6 months ago. He's so confident that he sends his calling card before he even commits the crime. This was his 5th heist, and as usual, he sent a card to Lordly Taylor. I love his gesture so much. His pattern is to always go after only the most precious art pieces. That's why we're sure it was Master Mask, sir. It fits his MO to a T. So then the actual identity of this Master Mask is... Mr. Godot! You! Oh, it never gets old. We're in the middle of a trial here, Mr. Godot! Blacker than a moonless night, hotter and more bitter than hell itself. That is coffee. I'm sure you can grant me at least this much, Your Honor. Oh, please, proceed. Very well. It's only coffee, after all. What? You can't be letting him slide this early in the trial. Proceed with your cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Well, Nick, what are you gonna do? As long as they haven't brought up Mr. DeLite's identity, all we can do is show that it wasn't Master Mask who stole the urn. Master Mask is a master thief that started his first crime spree 6 months ago. So let's look through the evidence real quick. This is your attorney's badge. This is your Magatama. This is the treasure exhibit poster. Let's touch this for details. So this shows the sacred urn that was stolen, and that was on display at the treasure exhibition that Adrian Andrews was in charge of security for. This is a golden statue that was moved during the night of the crime. This is the sacred urn. That was the one that was stolen. This is the mask calling card. They're always sent before a heist. The emblem is top secret, and this was the specific calling card from the night of. To the security at Lordly Taylor. I will be coming to purloin your most priceless work of art on display in your Treasures of Kurain exhibit. Take good care of that speckled urn, won't you? Yours truly, Master Mask. This is the camera data. The warehouse camera went off once at 1 a.m. on the night of the crime. This is the Shishishito. Damask knocked at me out during the crime with a blow to the back of the head. This is the security camera photo taken in the warehouse storeroom entrance. This shows Masked Damask during his 5th heist, in the basement, taking the urn. This is a blackmail letter that we happen to have, written with a fountain pen found in Ron's room. If we read it, it says, "If you don't want your true identity revealed to the world, come to KB Security at 1 a.m. on October 12th and bring $50,000. If you don't, I'll take that red diamond you received the other day instead." This is Ron's wallet, which was found at KB Security Building at around 1 a.m. on the night of the crime. This is a keycard that was found in Ron's wallet. It opens the KB Security CEO's office and leaves a record behind when used. And then this is the publicity photo that we just got, which shows what the Master Thief looks like. Maybe you're all piecing some of this together at this point. Thank you so much, Twist, for gifting a sub to Lirio Luna. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Really appreciate the support. He's so confident that he sends his calling card before he even commits the crime. Okay, we have the calling card. This was his 5th heist, and as usual, he sent a card to Lordly Taylor. His pattern is to always go after only the most precious art pieces. That's why we're sure it was Masked Damask, sir. It fits his MO to a T. Nick, it definitely looks like it was Masked Damask who stole the urn. But there's no real evidence either way as to whether Ron Delight is Masked Damask. He was only arrested by Detective Gumshoe because he has all of the memorabilia of Masked Damask in his house. But... Also, the urn hasn't turned up yet, let alone in connection to Mr. Delight himself. So even though we know it was Masked Damask that did it, maybe for the time being, I should try to show it wasn't Masked Damask that did it. So what's really good about this game is that they actually allow multiple correct answers, so I believe that both of these statements are actually false. And it would accept either of them. So depending on where your logic was, it probably pointed you at either this statement or this statement. So I think the contradiction here is that the Sacred Urn has supposedly no monetary value. Objection! Can I ask you a little something, Detective Gumshoe? Just hearing the little in that question is making me nervous. You said that he always goes after the most precious art pieces, right? That's right, pal! But there's one problem. That's not what he did in this case. Oh yeah, objection theme. The supposedly priceless urn doesn't exactly rise to the level of precious art. What do you mean? Nick, how can you say such a terrible thing? No, I meant from a financial point of view. I mean, it wouldn't fetch a good price. Well, Prosecutor Godot, what is the value of that urn? The appraisers I spoke to said they couldn't attach a price to it. And I mean that in the worst sense. So in other words, it was not the kind of item that Masked Damask would normally go after! Urgh! Thank you everybody for the objections. If I understand you correctly, Mr. Wright, you're saying that the theft of the Sacred Urn was not the work of Masked Damask? Yes, that's what I'm saying. Actually, all I did was point out the contradiction. The argument made itself, but... well, first of all, we need to get this issue cleared up. Was this last robbery the work of Masked Damask or not? What do you have to say about this, Mr. Godot? This coffee here, it's my own special blend. I call it Godot number 107. I'm trying to decide whether to cut down on the acidity or the bitterness. That's the only thing I've got on my mind right now, Mr. Trite. What? If you're really a man, you should clean up your own mess. Sorry, I don't get what you mean. If you're saying it wasn't Mask that stole the urn, then it must be someone imitating Mask methods. A fake. A fake Damask? Fake Damask? That sounds so ridiculous, but I like it. Now, before I decide on my coffee, I believe some proof is in order, Mr. Trite. Proof that the person who appeared at Lord Lee Taylor that night was actually a fake. So what's also fantastic about this case is that, unlike the previous case I showed you, our prosecutor here is absurdly competent. I love that. Yeah, he has 107 blends of coffee. Welcome all, Mighty Jack, Twist, Sispon, Henry, Lyriel. Pleasure to see you all. Hello, Twist. Though I don't approve of Mr. Godot's behavior, his point is valid. Mr. Wright, we're waiting. Looks like I'm gonna have to prove it. I need proof that the person at Lord Lee Taylor that night was in fact fake Damask. Do we have any proof that the person at Lord Lee Taylor that night was not the real Mask Damask? Well, first, let's take a look at what Mask Damask looks like. Do we have any evidence? We do, actually. If you take a look at the security photo, something's missing. Who said earlier that the brooch was very nice? It's a very nice brooch. Wonder if anyone actually caught that. Take that! The proof is right here. This looks like a photo taken by a security camera. But if you look closely, you'll notice something peculiar about it. Ha! Well then, why don't you go ahead and show us what it is? Go on, use this pointer and show us just what about this picture is so peculiar. Like I said, it was the brooch. It's missing, but it's present in the publicity photo. It's right here, of course! You mean, Mask Damask? I have here a piece of reference I would like the court to take a look at. Isn't that the publicity photo that I bought this morning? The problem I have with the security camera photo is the brooch on Damask's chest. A breach? Here? Bailiff! Get my steed! We need to retreat at once! A brooch, Your Honor. It's a sort of clasp for holding one's cape on. A clasp, eh? Ah! I see it now! But the Mask Damask in the security camera photo... Ah! He has no brooch! The brooch is the same as the emblem on Damask's calling card and serves as his symbol. But the thief that broke into Lord Lee Taylor wasn't wearing a brooch. In other words, this Mask Damask is a fake! Objection! Ugh! I've been fooled again! Order! Order! It's true! Undeniably true! Detective Gumshoe! How could you have overlooked this? I'm sorry, sir. I don't know how I... Hey now. If you're gonna have a pity party, invite me too. Mr. Godot, you deserve some blame in this too. How could you have overlooked such a large brooch? Ha! The brooch you're talking about. Do you mean this? Ah! That's Damask's brooch? Where did you find it? Well, I've always had a good nose for evidence. I got it at the crime scene. It was hidden in the shadow of a big female Buddha statue. Buddha statue? You must mean the Ami Faye statue. Why didn't you tell me about that, sir? I always put evidence away in my pockets. After all, it's the safest place for crucial evidence. Grr, this guy is one cool customer. It's a little early to be shaken up, isn't it, little lady? god. That friend of yours left pretty little hickeys on there, too. Hickeys? Figuratively speaking. Of course. I'm referring to Rhonda Light's fingerprints. Oh, uh-oh. That's not good. What? What? The defendant's fingerprints are on the brooch? This episode says Godot for president. Yes. Order! Order in the court! Mr. Godot, let's see that brooch! I've grown attached to my metallic girlfriend here. Take good care of her. I mean it, appears to have been torn off some clothing. There's a little bit of cloth left on the back. Obviously there must have been a big struggle that night at the crime scene. Uh-oh. Phoenix, we have a problem. Damask brooch added to the court record. Ha! You mess with Godot, and you get burned. Grr. He's been playing me like a violin. It's not Winston Payne anymore, guys. We've graduated from Winston Payne, and now we have a real prosecutor who's actually competent. Well, Judge, I'm about ready to call my next witness. Huh? You're done with me? But I haven't proved anything yet. You've proven your own incompetence. That's good enough. That doesn't sound good at all. Bailiff, bring the next witness into the courtroom. Finally time for the ace detective to make his appearance, huh? Burned by hot coffee number 107. It's totally a kangaroo court. 1 second is 1 drip of coffee pot. Let's hurry it up. Shush! Silence! Now I see. It's all becoming clear. What's clear? Svari! The truth has once again been elegantly revealed to me. What we have here is a judge and a prosecutor. A coffee maniac at that! Am I correct? Well, yes. That's right. Ha! Not bad. Not bad at all. Atme's where I learned my AoE2 analysis from. He's perfect, immaculate. You're the first person that's ever been able to penetrate my secret veil. Able to break the meta. Well, Sir Prosecutor, let me introduce myself. My name is Luke Atme, ace detective and rising star, illuminating the heavens. Boy, these two make a perfect pair. They'd either be best friends or they'd tear each other's heads off. I've heard that on the night of the crime, you were all alone on security detail. You have heard correctly. My specially made monocle is worth more than 100 Detective Gumshoes. If Detective Gumshoe was worth anything, that is. Ooh, sick burn. Why was this guy all by himself anyway? There must be some reason. I'm sure of it. Well then, tell us what this special monocle of yours witnessed. Alright everybody, let's pay close attention here. Spoopy. What I witnessed. It was approximately 1 o'clock in the morning, just after the date changed. That's when my nemesis, the infamous Master Mask, dancingly descended upon me. Just as I began to turn, the coward struck a fierce blow upon my noble head. Darkness swallowed me before I could land a single strike. When I awoke, he was gone. 30 minutes later, I used an emergency phone to notify the police. So you didn't get a clear look at the criminal? My specially made monocle never misses a thing. However, that is limited to things that fall within my own visual range. But of course, that's only natural. I fail to see why the witness seems so proud of his performance that evening. Well, Sir Old-Timer, let me explain. We are not speaking of any ordinary thief, but the king of thieves, the great Master Mask, my archenemy. That is what my instincts and my years of experience tell me. Very well. Proceed with the cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Indeed, assault and battery, yes. 30 minutes after waking up for getting knocked out. That is a pretty long time if he had a phone. I agree. Entering Zvarian chat removes fog of war. That's a pretty good joke, actually. It was approximately 1 o'clock in the morning, just after the date changed. That's when my nemesis, the infamous Master Mask, dancingly descended upon me. Just as I began to turn, the coward struck a fierce blow upon my noble head. Darkness swallowed me before I could land a single strike. When I awoke, he was gone. 30 minutes later, I used an emergency phone to notify the police. There's something suspicious about Detective Atme. How could he have not noticed when the thief came in? Also, he says he was knocked unconscious before he could fight back. But that can't be right. It contradicts the evidence. Huh? Which piece? The real question is, why would he tell such an obvious lie? Darkness swallowed me before I could land a single strike. When I awoke, he was gone. That can't be correct. We just learned earlier, if you all remember, that Damask Brooch was torn off of his costume, so there must have been a fight. Objection! Mr. Atme, could you take a look at this with that special monocle of yours? Aha! This belongs to the criminal mastermind, my arch-nemesis, Master Mask! It is, in point of fact, Master Mask Brooch. It was found on the floor of the basement warehouse. I wonder how that happened. Ha! Elementary, my dear lawyer. Obviously it wasn't glued on well enough. Not quite. It clearly shows signs of having been ripped off a piece of clothing. Ripped off? Aha! We can only deduce that the thief struggled with someone that night. That's the only thing I can think of. And there's only one person that was in a position to have a struggle with the thief. The only person that was on security duty that night! You, Detective Atme! Urk! Oh, here it comes! Detective Atme, you must have fought with the thief that night! The judge is always the slowest person in scroll. That's what makes it so funny. Hey, guys. So, why did you lie in your testimony to the court? Witness! Giving false testimony is a serious crime! No! Wait just a moment, Sir Old Timer! Don't talk to me like I'm living in a nursing home! I just remembered, Your Honor. I was just confused because I've been dealing with so many cases lately. The true measure of a man is in the amount of work he does. That's what I always say. Nick, you can only handle one case at a time. Isn't that right? You talk too much. Sick burn. Witness! So are you now saying that you and the thief fought? Hold on. That's quite enough, Your Honor. Excuse me? Save the big questions for the testimony. That's one of my rules. Indeed, I understand. I, Luke Atme, agree completely. The true measure of a man is the amount of villagers he makes. I'm gonna steal that line. It's a good one, guys. Thank you so much, Decimvere, for subscribing. I really appreciate it. Thank you, and I hope to see you in the future. Indeed. It's true that I looked away from the door for a brief moment. However, Luke Atme cannot be so easily discombobulated. Unfortunately, the thief grabbed a weapon from the side and rendered me senseless. A true gentleman fights only with his own fists, but they were not enough. His first blow struck true. Bam! And that's all she wrote. So in the end, you did catch a glimpse of Master Mask. Correct. It was during his third crime that he struck me from behind. It seems that my memory has become a tad jumbled, so to speak. Well, that's certainly understandable. I myself always get confused about which testimony goes with which case. That can't be good. Oh, God. I picked this case for my birthday because, God, the writing is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. There you go, one squirrel. He's even slower than you think he is. Ooh. This is the Allegro testimony, which means that we're getting close to discovering a vital part of this case. Indeed, it's true that I looked away from the door for a brief moment. However, Luke Atme cannot be so easily discombobulated. Unfortunately, the thief grabbed a weapon from the side and rendered me senseless. A true gentleman fights only with his own fists, but they were not enough. His first blow struck true. Bam! And that's all she wrote. Well, what do you think, Nick? Well, there's only one thing I'm absolutely sure of now. Yeah? What is it? This Luke Atme guy, he's definitely hiding something. But why? I think I'm starting to figure out what really happened that night. And about the true nature of this detective. I'm not sure if there's a contradiction in this testimony off the top of my head. Which means that we have to press him on a statement to get more information, but which statement will we press him on? So we know what weapon that he grabbed from the side was the Shishishito. We already have that. I'm pretty sure Atme would say something profoundly stupid if I pressed him here. Sometimes you have to be careful though, and if you actually press a witness, you either get a penalty, or sometimes you just lose the case. But here, I'm a little bit curious. What does that mean, discombobulated? Young people these days, they really irritate me. They allow perfectly good old words to die, until everyone forgets what they mean. Sorry, but what exactly does it mean anyway? Now I've forgotten. What was I saying? Jeez, it's better than old people who forget what they were saying 5 seconds ago. Well, it looks like we've cleared that up. You can go on with your testimony. His first blow struck true, bam, and that's all she wrote. Hold it! Can you tell us a little bit more about what happened? My opponent was both powerful and vicious. You might say, he was powericious. Powericious? I assumed the Atme fighting stance, but a sudden flash of light blinded me! That, of course, was checkmate. My opponent had bested me. Always assume the Atme fighting stance in every game you play. This is relevant to Age of Empires. Take notes. What do I do now? Should I ask more about this? So, normally they throw you red herrings in here. Sometimes you're supposed to leave it. You were blinded or Atme fighting stance? What do we think, chat? I'd like to learn a little bit more about this Atme fighting stance. I think that I could apply that knowledge in Age of Empires 2 for a new tutorial video. What is this Atme fighting stance? I'm sorry, but that's a trade secret. I really can't say any more. But I suppose I can tell you if I absolutely must. The main thing is to put your back to the wall. That way, no one can get behind you. That's it? That's the Atme fighting style? Well, Mr. Wright, what about that testimony? Was it a waste of time? Or was it important? I'm gonna say it was very important. I'm smelling a contradiction here. Of course it's important! We've learned a detective's secret technique after all! Yes, indeed. I'll remember to use it if I ever take a walk alone late at night. Why the heck is he eyeballing me like that? It's creeping me out. Now then, witness. We'll go ahead and add that secret information to your official testimony. Oh, game. Thank you so much, Jinx, for the 250 bits. I really, really appreciate it. He says, it's Rez's early birthday stream. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jay, by the way, for gifting that sub to Destinbeer. Super nice of you. I put my back to the wall to fight, but the thief's blow landed upon my third eye. Hold it! Where is this third eye you're talking about? Oh, it's right between my right and left eyebrows. It's quite invisible to the unenlightened. You may call it the forehead, if you'd like. Why didn't you just say that in the first place? Sir Lawyer, it looks like the creases in your own forehead are getting deeper. So Mr. Atme got hit in the forehead then. That's what he says. I've got a funny feeling about that. Actually, so do I. Well, what do you think, Nick? Well, there's one thing that I'm absolutely sure of now. Yeah? What is it? This Luke Atme guy. He's definitely hiding something. So, Luke Atme just told us, after we pressed him, that he was hit on the forehead, which is not true and directly contradicts the evidence. The Shishishido says that Damask knocked out Atme during the crime with a blow to the back of his head and not his third eye. What do you have to say to that, Detective Atme? Objection! Detective Atme, your testimony is crumbling like a house of cards. What fun is this, Sir Lawyer? It is truly a pleasure to cross swords with you. And now, once again, you have thrown down the gauntlet at my armored feet. I believe this is what you said yesterday. No, the coward must have wormed his way in through somewhere besides the door. Then, my arch-nemesis struck me on the head from behind with this gruesome item here. From behind, huh? But just now, you testified that he struck you on the forehead. I hardly think you could forget where you were hit in the head! Urk! It seems I've made another mistake. The over-the-top reactions are fantastic. Detective Atme, that's not the only strange part of your testimony. What do you mean by that? For example, the very fact that you hid the calling card from the police itself is strange. It's almost as if you were afraid that they were going to help with security. Urk! Geniuses such as myself have always been misunderstood. How sad. That's wrong! Objection! Ooh, Godot's objecting now. To err is human, and to forgive, divine. Humans aren't machines. They have souls, feelings. They live, they die. They love, they hate. And yes, they even make mistakes. Objection! Hey, hold on! It's not as pretty as that! See the coffee? Really? What is it like then? Always chase a riddle down to the end. That's one of my rules. Godot's got a lot of rules. Like a lot of rules. This is it. This might just be my chance to turn things around. And when you think we've got it, just wait. This case is very, very complicated. This might just be my chance to turn things around. Mr. Wright, what exactly is it that you're asserting? Very well, Your Honor. The defense asserts that... Alright, which one is it going to be, chat? Mr. Atme is no ace detective. Sick burn. I want to pick that, but I might get penalized. This Mr. Atme is a fake. It wouldn't be the first time for the series. Or that Mr. Atme is mask to mask. What are we going with here? I'm gonna go with Mr. Atme is mask to mask. Now, no backseat gaming, but when I ask you what your thoughts are, I would like to hear them. I do want to say he's no ace detective, though. That would be hilarious. And we might not be wrong, but that might lose us the case, so let's not do that. The answer is simple. It's all clear to me now. Isn't that what... Wait. Isn't that what Detective Atme said earlier? Detective Luke Atme's true identity is actually mask to mask. Yark! Oh, the corner theme! Here comes the epic music! Order! Order in the court! Mr. Wright, what is the meaning of this? There are too many unnatural parts to Mr. Atme's story. He says he was always hiding at the crime scenes, which is why no one ever saw him there. And then, in his last case, he manages to outperform Detective Gumshoe and the entire police force to miraculously retrieve the stolen treasure. That's because I analyzed the crime scene data and made an exquisitely elegant deduction. I picked up clues that the police overlooked in order to arrive at a... Oh, please. That explanation is far simpler than that, Detective at me. The truth is that you are, in fact, Master Mask. Gurk! But Mr. Wright, this photo, it clearly shows Master Mask. I love this song so much. Please let me know in the Twitch chat or the comments if you played this game, and if any of what's your favorite Pursuit Corner theme. This security camera belongs to the Lordly Taylor department store. This is one of my favorites. It's up there, at least. He shouldn't have been able to manipulate it. That's a very crucial point. He should not have been able to manipulate that photo. It was taken by Adrian Andrews, the head of security for that department. He didn't need to manipulate it. He gained access to the warehouse under the pretense of providing security. Then he simply dressed up as the thief and stole the urn. So the ace detective is actually an ace thief. Is this true, witness? Ha! De Massimo is pure genius! And so am I! Look at me, ace detective! You're very clever to have come to such a conclusion. I am impressed, Sir Lawyer. What? Witness, you're admitting it? Nick, now's your chance! Yes, now's the time to put the last nail in this guy's coffin. Detective at me, when you assume the thief's identity— OBJECTION! Oh, snap. Godot Blend number 102. My personal favorite. Is that one of the best sprites in the game? I'm not sure. This game is full of amazing animation, but that is one of my favorites. Mr. Godot! The ace detective is actually an ace thief? I smell a best-selling novel. There's only one problem. It simply isn't true. But Mr. Godot! Mr. Wright has made some very strong points, and I will admit my opponent has woven a compelling narrative out of whole cloth. But it is, in fact, nothing more than a patchwork quilt, Mr. Trite. If this detective really is the thief, then show us the proof of your claim. He's still got the coffee. But it had better be as hot and as perfect as the coffee dripping down your face. Well, Mr. Wright, don't just stand there! This court would like to see this decisive proof you have, quickly! Huh? Oh, yes, of course! What's the big rush? Are you alright, Nick? Atme looks pretty rattled right now. I'd like to finish this right now if I can, but can I really do it? The decisive evidence that proves Mr. Luke Atme is in fact Master Mask? Alright, chat. What do you think? Is right here, or has yet to be found? Do we have decisive evidence that proves Mr. Luke Atme is in fact Master Mask? What do you think, everybody? Thank you so much, Mr. Dead, for your 44-month resub. I really, really appreciate those of you that kept your sub for so long, as well as all the new subs. Thank you so much, Mr. Dead. It means the world to me. I look forward to bringing you more awesome content. Welcome to the stream, man. Welcome! Jay says right here, what do you think the evidence is that Mr. Atme is actually Master Mask? What do you all think that evidence is? So the warehouse camera went off at 1 AM on the night of the crime. The Shishishito knocked him out, below the back of his head. He's definitely very suspicious. Here's the photo of the storeroom entrance. Maybe the evidence is here. Regardless, we know that he's missing the brooch on his chest. Whoever's in this photo. Here's the blackmail letter. And here's Ron's wallet. And here's the key card. Here's the publicity photo. Here's the brooch. Do we have decisive evidence that Mr. Luke Atme is in fact masked a mask? Aw, thank you so much, Runiad, for the happy birthday wishes and for subbing. I really appreciate it. It helps me out a lot. Thank you. So, I'm actually going to go with... Let's see what the Twitch chat says. One Squirrel says, I think it is yet to be found. Almighty Jack thinks it's the blackmail letter. Dustin Veer says he called the police 30 minutes after 1 a.m. That is definitely really suspicious for sure. Hopefully I showed the evidence long enough, Jinx. Henry says, I'm thinking the camera footage might be it, that we conveniently don't have. We have a picture, though. One Squirrel says it wasn't 1 a.m., it was... Very close to 1 a.m., 2 minutes off. Interesting. Almighty Jack says there was only one person in the warehouse and not two. Liriel asks if I can throw coffee at him. I wish. Actually, can't you play as Phoenix Wright in one of the Marvel vs. Capcom games? Oh my god. So I actually don't think that we have decisive evidence. I think that you all have really, really good ideas, and we're all on the right track together, but I don't think we have decisive evidence. Not necessarily. It could be anybody in that photo. If you think about it, it could be actually anyone. And we only have a photograph. If we take a look at the security camera photo, is the most concrete evidence that we have that the crime actually occurred. We know the crime occurred and that the urn was stolen. That is a fact of this case. Rhonda Light was arrested. Luke Atme was on security duty that night. The person in charge of security was Adrian Andrews. Detective Gumshoe is the person that arrested Rhonda Light, but it could really be almost anyone in this costume. The thing that's missing is the brooch. There's a 2-minute discrepancy, though, with this photo, which is interesting, but the photo itself couldn't actually be altered because the photo came from Lordly Taylor, which was administered by Adrian Andrews. So, unless Adrian Andrews is guilty, the photo could not be doctored. It could be anyone in that costume so far. But it's difficult to say. There's definitely a lot of things that make Luke Atme very suspicious here. But maybe this case isn't so simple. Maybe, if we keep watching. Who knows? Proof? Of course, I've got nothing. Now I'm not sure. We might actually have proof. But I don't think we do off the top of my head, so I'm just going with that. Thank you so much, JRU, for gifting a sub to One Squirrel for 3 months. That's so nice of you. Thank you. Ha! Just what I thought. A man has to hold his head up high no matter how bad things get, after all. Ugh. I see. I thought perhaps you had some evidence to back up your assertion. This is no good. I've got to stay on the attack! Yeah, he's already cleaning his monocle, which I do all the time. This is why I don't have a face cam, because I look exactly like that guy, and I'm always doing this. I'll never get another chance to prove that this guy is the thief. Don't give up, Nick! Think harder and try again! Oh, did I mess up? It's no good. I'm just not ready yet. Did I mess up? I don't think I did. But, are you gonna just give up and let us lose this? Oh, did I lose? So you've come to your senses then, have you, Sir Lawyer? I can't think of a counterattack at all! It seems that the cloud of suspicion surrounding this witness is lifted. Mr. Godot, if you have anything further to add, then... Hold it! Who? It's Desiree! Who are you? That doesn't really matter right now, does it? Miss Delight! What are you doing here? Nicky boy! The thing you've been looking for. I think I found it. Well, that's suspicious. You mean that bag? No, not the bag. What's in the bag? Well, that's the sacred urn! Nick, it's the urn! Order, order, order! You, madam! That urn, where did you find it? You'll never believe it. It was in the office of Mr. Fancy Pants Ace Detective, Luke Atney. Oh, Desi, you're the best! Sacred urn updated in the court record. Well, how do you explain that one, Mr. Atney? Even you were gonna have a hard time weaseling your way out of this one. Objection! Ha! Pathetic. Mr. Godot? Do you have something you wish to say? Hey, Slow Clap Man, welcome! Is that convenient? Indeed, very convenient. Too convenient? We'll see. Lord Goat says, hey, wishing you a happy birthday, man. I'm so sorry I can't stay, but I'll watch the VOD later. Have a great birthday stream. Love the Ace Attorney. Thank you so much, Lord Goaty McGoat. I will post the full thing on YouTube, and if you can leave a like and a comment, it helps a ton. Much appreciated. Welcome, Washi. Mr. Godo, do you have something you wish to say? Yes, Your Honor. It simply amazes me how quickly times change. In the old days, a man was to be taken at his word. It's truly sad. You're still denying that Mr. Atney was involved? Before casting aspirations at Detective Atney, consider the young lady there. Her name is Desiree. Desiree Delight. Is that correct? Yes! What about it? Uh-oh. Ha! How charming. Hey, you know, Pete. Thank you. Welcome to Stream Rocket Seal. The lengths that a woman is willing to go to save her husband is truly inspiring. What are you insinuating? As the wife of a criminal, you could have discovered that urn anywhere. Including the office of the good detective here. Ooh, objections! They actually explain that later, Slow Clap Man. That's a good thought. So, you found the urn. What does that prove? It certainly doesn't prove where the urn was before you found it. And don't worry, I'll keep explaining things as we go on. What? I just brought it here from the detective's office. We're only just getting started. Please, madam. This town is already filled to the brim with lies. Any more could only compound the tragedy that we have witness to. You're wrong! I would never do such a thing! Miss Delight. Please, Nicky boy, you've got to help me talk some sense into these people! There must be some way. I've got to prove that urn was actually in the Atney Detective Agency. In fact, close the case or Godot will die from caffeine overdose. He's got one hell of a tolerance, one squirrel. So remember, everybody, no backseat gaming, but when I ask you what's on your mind and what option you think we should choose, I'm curious to hear your reasoning. But no backseat gaming unless I ask for it. Here, I wonder if anyone's figured out what the answer is. Can we prove that the urn was actually in the Atney Detective Agency? Testify about what I saw. Show fingerprints in the urn, or I can't prove anything yet. Well, if I select the wrong one, I might lose the entire case. I think our best bet is to show the fingerprints on the urn. Everybody put your res thinks on. We're gonna need some break the meta level analysis here. Some logic puzzles to solve. I'm going with the fingerprints. I can prove where that urn was. By the fingerprints on it. Fingerprints, eh? Oh, come now! Now you're really making me laugh, Sir Lawyer. Fingerprints indeed! May I go on? Good. Now, it would be perfectly understandable if my fingerprints were on that urn. After all, it was I who was guarding the urn in the first place. Actually, he does make a good point. In any case, I'm always in the habit of wearing gloves, as you can see. Also makes a good point. So unfortunately, my fingerprints wouldn't be evidence of anything. What about it, Mr. Wright? The witness's fingerprints would mean nothing anyway. Nick, what are you gonna do now? I've come too far to turn back now. Atme must have brought the urn back to his office yesterday. And there, I'm sure someone must have left their fingerprints on it. Do. Yes, look, man, he is wearing gloves. It's my boy. So indeed, Disco Broski is correct in that the only person who could have their fingerprints on the urn would actually be me. Take that! So what is all this fuss about the fingerprints anyway? Mr. Atme, do you recall the events of yesterday? Hey Nick, come on, open it up! Hey, wait a minute, we can't just open his private property. Don't be such a fuddy-duddy. This is an important investigation. Well, what's in there? Now, we didn't get a good look at it, but we did touch it. Hang on a sec, I'm taking it out now. Whatever it is, it feels kinda hard and smooth. Well, hello there! It's true that I didn't get a chance to look at the bag at the time, but I did touch what was inside. What? You touched it? And I remember it very well. It was smooth and hard. Well, that was just... Your Honor, I'd like the court to examine the fingerprints on that urn. If my fingerprints are on there, then it proves that the urn was in Detective Atme's office. Objection! And then the music kicks in. Well, even if your fingerprints are on the urn, it still doesn't prove when they were put there, does it? Kind of good point. I love having a competent prosecutor here for this battle of logic. And sometimes the game doesn't let you know whether or not you've gone down the right track until it's way too late. Of course it does. What did you say? Not what I said. It's what Adrian Andrews, the person in charge of the exhibition, said. I polished it up until it was just about glowing. I thought maybe I could make it look more valuable. If she polished it that much, she must have removed any and all fingerprints on it. And the only chance I had to get my fingerprints on it after that was yesterday at the Atme Detective Agency. Ha! This blend, Godot Blend 107. I've decided. It's a little too bitter after all. Order! 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 I accept the defense's request. Bailiff, take this urn and... Wait! Wait a moment, Your Honor. There's no need for that. No need, you say? Precisely. I already know Mr. Wright's fingerprints are on the urn. What are you saying? Yes, I've finally broken him down. Or so you think, Disco Broski. Take a good look, everyone! Unable to find a rival truly worthy of my genius, I was forced to create one by myself. Here I am, the tragic clown. This guy is nuttier than a fruitcake. You see, it was me all along. I am the one and only Master Mask. I hope you all enjoyed my little performance. Bitter says I'm just in here for about 2 minutes and I love this. Oh, thank you so much, Bitter 4K. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Slow Clapman. Jinx, thank you so much for gifting us up to Slow Clapman. Well, Mr. Godot, what's Mr. Atme's condition? He's still in the lobby, laughing insanely, Your Honor. I wish I could enjoy the joke as much as he seems to be. Well, it looks like the matter has been settled. I came perilously close to besmirching the record of an innocent young man. Besmirching him with the title of thief. Nick, you were right after all! Yeah, I guess Mr. Delight really wasn't the thief. The court finds the defendant, Mr. Ron Delight? Hold it! Oh! You're wrong! Wrong, I tell you! I mean, not exactly wrong so much, but not actually right is what I'm really trying to say. Oh no, he's not. This can't be happening. Remember, our defendant pled guilty. Oh. Uh-oh. The thief! The sneaky, odious thief who's been stealing all the treasures! It's me! I'm him! I'm the one you want! I'm the thief, I tell you! So do it! Pronounce me guilty, please! I don't know what kind of kangaroo court you all think this is, but who called this a kangaroo court earlier? Because they just called it one too. Objection! The true identity of the thief has already been proven! Please hurry and pass judgment. That's what the prosecutors always say. Nice try, Phoenix. What are you talking about? I already confessed! I'm the thief, I tell you! Uh-oh. I think we just gave Godot a big opportunity! Slow Clapman says this is bad. The judge can't exactly ignore that. Yup. It's time for our res fails or res whats. Mr. Godot! Don't just stand there drinking coffee! Ha! Hey there, Mr. Thief. Uh-oh, I think Godot's getting aroused. Or I am, because of the music, I'm not really sure. Yes! Yes, sir! If you're really a man, then clean up your own mess. Oh, Godot. Talk to me anytime. I'm sorry, I'm afraid I just don't have any idea what you mean. If you are Master Mask, then prove it. That's what it means. Yes, sir! I'd be happy to! He says he'll be happy to, Nick. It's kinda cute. He's 100% committed to his fantasy. So remember what I said earlier. Ron Delight was arrested by Detective Dick Gumshoe earlier in the police department because Ron Delight's house, which he shares with Desiree, was full of Master Mask memorabilia, connecting him to the crime. Even though he did not have the urn on him when he was arrested, he had so much Master Mask planning, costumes, everything, that would either point to him being Master Mask's #1 fan, or actually Master Mask. It's really confusing. And he's pleading guilty, too. Good boy. Now, just remember one thing. A boy only gets one chance in his life to become a man. I hope people just keep continuing quoting Godot in my stream until the end of time. That'd be great. Really appreciate the res thing, Gravitortus, and the 8-month resub. Always a pleasure to have you around. Welcome back, man. Hey, Ecthelion! Good to see you too. I know that! I won't fail! I swear! Okay then, talk! We're all listening. Oh well. Let's all have a listen to this confession. Uh-oh. Trial's not over yet! Trial is not over yet. D Disco Broski, the logic has seemed very straightforward so far. But is it? Pay attention to the testimony, everybody. Thank you so much, Washi, for the $10. I really, really appreciate it. He says, unfortunately, I can't send you a birthday cake. Hopefully this will do res cheer. Thank you so much, Washi. That's very, very helpful of you. So let's hear Ron Delight's testimony on Master Mask's identity. Why on earth is this man pleading guilty? We just figured out who Master Mask is. It's Luke Atme. The truth is, I've been Master Mask all along. What? I mean, you can't really prove that I'm not actually Master Mask, can you? What? Hey, appreciate the birthday wishes, Mile and Honor. Welcome. We can't actually prove that he's not Master I don't have an alibi for the night the urn was stolen after all. I donned my costume that night and dancingly descended upon the scene of the crime. Isn't that what Luke at me said earlier? Look, you can see right here in the photo. That's me! As for my brooch, I snagged it on the door handle and it got torn off. That's all. What's going on here? Did Godot, like, coerce a confession out of him? I don't really get it. I don't like the direction that this trial is taken. But this is how every trial goes. At least with me, anyway. Ha! You're doing great. Stop it, Mr. Godot! You're embarrassing me! Oh. Oh my. What? Like I said, you're only getting one chance to testify, alright? But if you make it through this with flying colors, I'll keep my promise too. I'll make sure you stay locked up in prison as the one and only true Master Mask. Thanks so much, Mr. Godot! I'll do my best! Alright, Mr. Wright. I'm afraid it's time for the cross-examination. What do you all think? The truth is, I've been Master Mask all along! I mean, you can't prove that I'm not actually Master Mask, can you? Can we prove that? I don't have an alibi for the night the urn was stolen after all. I donned my costume that night and dancingly descended upon the scene of the crime. Look, you can see right here in the photo. That's me. As for my brooch, I snagged it on the door handle and it got torn off, that's all. Why does Mr. Delight want to be Master Mask so badly anyway? It's kind of disturbing. He doesn't seem like you're a typical attention whore to me. Unlike, say, you, Nick. What? I'm nothing of the sort, thank you very much. But I gotta admit, it is kind of scary the way Ron acts. Anyway, time to poke some holes in that testimony of his. Do we have any proof that he isn't Master Mask? The warehouse camera went off at around 1 AM on the night of the crime. The mask knocked at me out during the crime with a blow to the back of the head. So another reason that he was arrested was actually that the blackmail letter was discovered in his room, which is a little suspicious. Let me have Ron's wallet. Let me have this key card. I don't have an alibi for the night the urn was stolen after all. And I'm just going to be bold. And I'm going to present one of... We have two pieces of evidence here that would work on multiple statements in his testimony. But he does have an alibi. And I'm going to say it's Ron's wallet. Objection! Mr. Delight, this wallet belongs to you, correct? Then that must mean this is your wallet. That's not my wallet. Blackmail letter is a good way to go. The blackmail letter is definitely an important piece of evidence. We don't know what the red diamond is yet, Jinx. Did Ron ever receive a red diamond? Yes. Yes, he did. Resonance 22 seems very suspicious. You got me. Suspon says he acts like he's protecting something with gratitude towards Godot. It's very weird. Petter says he seems very deliberate to go to jail. He does. I think it was... Rabbit Tortoise says I think it was actually Resonance 22, but I'm not sure because I couldn't watch the start. You got me. And yeah, they did just use the W word. As funny as it is. Jay says he's protecting Desiree from blackmail. Ooh. I like the theory a lot. Blackmail does seem probable so far. Yeah, the blackmail letter is an interesting, crucial piece of evidence. Jinx says this is so confusing. Yep. It is super confusing. I hope you're all enjoying this one. Hawker GP says this guy's such a big fan of Master Mask that he that he wants to be him. So that's actually our theory as the defense here, is that Ron just is a huge fan of Mask to Mask, and not actually Mask to Mask. So much to the point where he collects and maybe even steals memorabilia, and he's not actually Mask to Mask, is the assumption that we've been operating under. So, which one is it? Mr. Delight, this wallet belongs to you, correct? This must be your wallet. I saw you drop it. That's not my wallet. Ah! Yes, it does. I had lost it somewhere. Mr. Wright, when you find a wallet, you should report it to the police right away. That's where Detective Gumshoe comes in. Ah, no, you don't understand. This is an important piece of evidence. Evidence? Mr. Delight, when did you first notice that you'd dropped your wallet? Let's see, I think it was on the night of the crime. But I know I still had it when Desi and I went out for dinner. This wallet was found at approximately 1 a.m. at the KB Security headquarters. What? Surely you're not serious! Yes, I am serious. This proves that Mr. Delight was in fact at KB Security that night. No! So if the defendant was at KB Security at 1 o'clock in the morning, then that proves that he has a watertight alibi. No! Furthermore, considering the distance between Lordly Taylor and KB Security, it would have taken 30 minutes to get there by car. According to Larry, anyway. Well, Mr. Godot, do you have anything to say? Uh-oh. And stop drinking that coffee! Come on, Mr. Thief. Don't let this guy beat you. Tell him why he's wrong. You're the only one who calls me thief, Mr. Godot. Oh, alright, I'll try. I'll do it. I will. He's really got Mr. Delight all worked up. Yeah, he's like a kid on the first day of school. Look, it's just ridiculous. Why would I have dropped my wallet at KB Security? Someone must have planted it there to make it look like I was there and not at the heist. Planted it there? He's really reaching now. Mr. Delight, you probably dropped your wallet when you took it out to use this, didn't you? The keycard to KB Security's CEO's office. That was another piece of evidence we could have presented on a couple of his statements, because it leaves a detailed record behind every time it was used. No! Ha! That was a pretty good try, Mr. Trite. Unfortunately, you've overlooked one small thing. What? Motive, of course! Why would this thief go to KB Security in the middle of the night anyway? Well, Mr. Wright, seems like you need more evidence after all. Grr, this stupid kid! Now then, let's see your evidence. The evidence that shows why Mr. Delight went to KB Security at 1 a.m. that night. This is why Mr. Delight would have gone to KB Security that night. Because of the blackmail letter, which was found in his hideout. Take that! Mr. Delight, I believe you've seen this before, correct? Ah! That's... What is it? A blackmail letter. That's what it looks like from the contents. But blackmail. Yes, basically it says, bring $50,000. That certainly sounds like blackmail, alright. At the time of the theft, Mr. Delight was dealing with the blackmailer himself in KB Security CEO's office, a full half an hour away from the scene of the crime. Ugh. Ugh. No, 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 no! I love this game so much. I love this game so much. Order, order, order! So when the theft of the urn occurred, the defendant was at KB Security. It looks like a perfect case for the defense. Objection! You may see it as a perfect case, Judge, but to me... Well, let's just say that my Godot Blend 107 impresses me a lot more. What are you trying to say? You say that the thief was being blackmailed by the CEO of a security company? But did you actually investigate the CEO at all? Huh? Well, no, I guess not. Accusing a man of blackmail with no proof? I'm not sure what I think of that. Not sure what I think of that. At least I know what I think of you. Good point. I'm not sure what to think of it myself. You claim that the defendant entered the CEO's office? But you will need at least one witness to corroborate your claim, Mr. Wright. Nick! I think we're gonna have to track down the CEO guy. No, we don't have to track down the CEO at all. What do you mean by that, Mr. Trite? There is someone else who can testify. This is the one person who can testify that the keycard was used at 1 AM that night. Who would that be? Aha! It would have to be our friend Larry who found the wallet. Take that! Or at least I think so. Who is this useless-looking young man? Oh, God, that is burn. Wow. Hotter than Godot's Blend 107. You don't remember him, Your Honor? Not exactly. But just looking at his picture makes the bile start to rise in my throat. Looks like he doesn't remember the case from 2 years ago. He probably blocked out that memory on purpose. Anyway, this man was working as a guard at KB Security that night. Oh? Oh, it's the scary music. The question at hand is this keycard. Yep, that's the keycard they use in the building I work. According to the serial number, this one is for the CEO's office. He needed to get into that room, and every time you use that card, it leaves a record. Yeah, it tells you exactly who entered the room and when. And it tells us that in the evidence log. As you can see, there's no need to investigate the CEO of KB Security. We should be able to discover the truth simply by analyzing this keycard's data. Godot does not look happy. Wah! Did we do it? Keep watching. Well, Mr. Godot? The name of the CEO of KB Security is Kane Bullard. I was unable to contact him directly, but I got the keycard data. Here. So, what does it show? Each keycard has its own serial number, and they leave detailed records of their use. According to this data, this card was used at 1 AM on the morning of the crime. Keycard updated in the court record. But that means it can't be Mr. Delight dressed up as Master Mask in this photo. Ha! It looks like you're right. 2 minutes isn't enough time to brew a good cup of joe. So then... Ron Delight was clearly in the office of KB Security's CEO at the time of the crime. The prosecutor's office is ready to admit that fact. Therefore, it's impossible for the defendant to be Master Mask. Good job! You did it, Nick! That's enough! I came perilously close to besmirching the record of an innocent young man. Did you just say that earlier? Besmirching him with the title of thief. What's wrong, Your Honor? I'm ready to pass judgment. But before I do that, do you have any further objections? No, Your Honor. Humph. Ugh. Very well. The court finds the defendant, Mr. Ron Delight, not guilty. Just like in real-life confetti and everything. Woo! We did it! Court is now adjourned. Nick! You did it! You were right after all! Actually, I'm a little bit ashamed of myself. Nicky boy! Oh, Miss Delight. I knew you could do it! I believed in you all along, Nicky boy! I don't know how I can ever repay you. Aw, shucks. Thanks, Miss Delight. I just know I'm blushing. Congratulations, Mr. Nick! Oh, pearls! I've got a bad feeling about this. Who is this woman? Oh, she's nobody. She's just, You're blushing! How dare you do this in front of Mystic Maya? You should be ashamed of yourself! Ouch! She slapped me! Pearly. This woman is Miss Desiree Delight. She's our client's wife. Mr. Nick! Yes? You're even worse than I thought. Going behind the back of your own client! No, you've got it all wrong! I'll never forgive you! Ow! Double slap. Well, anyway, all's well that ends well, right? We've got the sacred urn back, and the thief has been caught. You're so right, and it's all thanks to Nicky Boy here. But actually, it was you, Miss Delight, that brought us that urn back. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Oh, please, you're embarrassing me. If we won the case, then why does this guy look so glum? But I am the thief. Actually, what's the point now? What is it, honey? I did my best for you, Ronnie. I know, and I appreciate it, Desi, but the thing is... Come on, give the kid some time. He's just got a little touch of the blues. You know feeling blue, right, amigo? Mr. Godot! What are you doing here? Oh, come on. I just came here to say thanks to my newest buddy. You, Mr. Trite. Maybe you should learn my name before you call me Buddy. Well, playtime is over. Huh? Early this morning, the body of Kane Bullard was discovered. Kane Bullard?! Where have I heard that name before? Isn't that the name of the CEO of KB Security? The body? The estimated time of death was 1 a.m. on October 12th. 1 a.m. on October 12th? You don't mean... That's right, amigo. At the same time, a cheap little urn was being stolen. The CEO of KB Security was being murdered. So then, what are you doing here? Oh, come on. You've already figured it out already, haven't you, amigo? Or have you already forgotten about that piece of info I helped you out with today? Help me out? What? On October 12th, at 1 a.m. in the morning, Rhonda Light was in the CEO's office, the scene of the murder. After getting that blackmail letter, he must have been imbued with utter rage. What are you saying? Imbued with rage? Come on, don't tell me you didn't know it. Rhonda Light was once an employee of KB Security. He was a professional security guard. An employee of KB Security? It looks like the alibi that you saved him from being convicted as a thief is going to be the noose that gets him hanged. Kind of an anti-alibi. No way! He can't be the thief because he was at the murder scene when the murder occurred. No, that's a lie! It can't be true! Oh! But I am the thief, I tell you! Rhonda Light, you're going back to prison again. This time the charge is much more serious. This time, you'll be tried for murder. What? This is impossible! I'm looking forward to another exciting showdown, Mr. Trite. You and I aren't through with each other yet. Surely you won't back down from a challenge. You've never been a coward. Mr. Nick, is there something personal between you two? I've returned from the depths of hell to do battle with you. At least let me have some fun while I'm here. This guy, who the heck is he? He may be quiet, but he's the most dangerous enemy I've ever faced. Well then, time to say goodbye to Mr. Delight. Nick! How could this be happening? Right in front of our very eyes, our client has been arrested for murder, and the one who established his presence at the scene was me. Yeah! Ronnie! Arrested for murder on the very same day he's declared innocent of larceny. What the heck's gonna happen next? if you've enjoyed it so far, please do make sure on YouTube to leave a like and a comment, as well as not use adblock. It really helps me out a lot. We'll be right back after the break, because we're finishing this case.